Okay, now I've made the decision I'm going to put the donor board into the target machine. Need to do a little bit of cleaning on this donor board before I put it back into the machine. There's going to be a couple of other bits that need sorting as well, but we're going to start with the donor board first. The first area I'm going to clean is here. You can see there's a lot of residual dust there, which is where cards have been inserted and uninserted. So all I'm going to do is get some IPA, put it in a lid like that. Just so I don't contaminate the IPA that's in there. And you can see the dirt and grime that's in there. This is the other end of the just to clear the dirt out. That's one. Do the other side. This side tends to, looks like it's dirtier. Just like that. There you go. Two very dirty pieces. Right. Next thing I want to do is along this edge here. Get it singled. It's, I don't know what's gone on along the edge here, but it's quite dirty. So we'll just lift the residue that's accumulated down there, like so. Like that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the top of these faders. So that's kind of the top clean. I'm going to try another trick here, which I'll go and get in a minute. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray some contact cleaner into the sliders and just give them a good work up, like so. Right, now I need to go and get something, so I'll just pause the cameras there. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Okay, trick I learned years ago. If you want to remove rust, get some aluminium cooking foil, a little bit WD-40, just to act as a little bit of a lubricant. And then what you do is you rub the aluminium foil over the rusty area. Okay, so there's the two things I want to do with that. Done. So that's the circuit board, or the main the areas of the circuit board that looked really dirty, that have just been, I've just cleaned up. Was an awful lot, but that's that. The other thing I'm going to do here is, if you look at this front piece, although you don't really see this front piece, I am going to take that off and respray it. So that's probably not a today job. That will be another day job. But if I turn this over, one of the things that's obvious is we're missing a pillar in this corner here. So I'm going to take the pillar off the, what I was calling the target machine, which is this one. So if I take that off of there and put that there out of shot, and bring this one back into shot, hopefully you can see that. I'm going to take this pillar off and replace it onto the new machine. Move that out of shot. That one back in. And bottom screw in. Right, that's the pillar in, so that makes that top board, which is the power board, more stable against the main circuitry, which is wonderful. Now what I am going to do is, you know what, respraying this backboard is not going to be as simple as I thought at first. Okay, I switched the camera off and I gave this a lot of thought, having looked at the board itself. And the problem is that if I leave this unchecked, even though you won't see it because it's encased in the plastic frame, once rust starts, then it can spread to the case and other components within the machine, because effectively rust is the reaction of water on metal, of course, at a simple thing, and it is starting to corrode this metal plate, as you can see. But if I were to look at the other metal plate, which is this one from the, what I was calling the target machine, you can see it is actually much worse. So if I leave it unchecked, then it will get worse. And the best thing I think I can do here is to take this off and spray it. Just rub it back, prime it, and then spray it. Just spray it matte black again, like it is at the moment. But I can't do that today because it's far too cold today to do spraying, even in the workshop. It needs to be warm, otherwise the paint will not go off properly. So I started undoing this. And if I just move this one out of the way and bring in the other board here, and you can look at this on top cam, there's these two gold screws which have got some adhesive on them, lock adhesive. So I've taken those off already on my target, and then I've moved round to here. And what's really interesting is that actually it's a slightly different design between the old and the new. In the new one, it's got these four screws still exist, but they are not holding the holders in the holders are being held in by these 4 screws here. So on my copy at the moment, what I've done is I've removed those 4 screws, and now I'm just about to remove these screws. Now it doesn't affect these, but you need to be really careful because these are soldered to the board. You don't want to be lifting them up. So what I'm going to do is just undo these remaining 4 screws here. And the reason why you've got to undo this is what Roland have done is effectively they have bent the plate over at 90 degrees to provide additional support for these card slots, I suppose, just to sort of give some what's the word I'm looking for, some help for the heavy-handed, just to strengthen the actual slots themselves. And if I can get the screws out, which then I don't want to come out, let's just try a magnet. That's the next one, and then that's that one. And these 2 plastic things will just come off like so, and I'll put those to one side. So that now releases the bent over portion, and it now allows me to remove these remaining screws and remove that back plate. So I'm going to remove the bottom ones first. 1, 2, 3, that's 4. So now I'm going to remove the top ones. So they're kind of, what they've done is they've screwed areas to the back plate where it's likely to take input. So for argument's sake, outputs, there are 2 outputs, is it outputs? 2 phonos, the MIDI sockets have been screwed to the back plate to give them a bit more strength. 2. 3. And then there's this plate that they've put around the power socket, which needs to come off as well, like so. Assuming that's, oh, that's a pain, isn't it? And there's 2 more screws and the other one right underneath that. So let's do these 2 screws. Now pull backwards. Aha, that's what's causing the problem. Okay, so what they've done is they looped that underneath that to lock it in, which wasn't a brilliant design. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to secure these back. One there. One there. Just to provide a little bit of segregation. So there you go, that's the board now removed and the back plate now removed. So I'm going to stop at this point in this video. There are other things to do, and you'll see the next piece of this video shortly. But as far as where we are, I'm going to stop because I want to prime that first and get that back reassembled before I move on to the next piece of this R8 restoration, which is turning out to be a bit more work than I thought it was going to be. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye.